Borders are just lines on maps, but they've caused more wars than almost any other human invention. From Europe to Africa to Asia, the way these lines were drawn still shapes the conflicts we see today. So, why do these imaginary lines have such deadly, real-world consequences? Most of today's international borders were drawn during the 19th and 20th centuries. Often, they were carved up by colonial powers who had never even set foot on the lands they were dividing. With little regard for the people living there, they sliced through cultures, languages, and even families. In places like Africa and the Middle East, you can literally see the straight lines drawn with a ruler, creating artificial states that bundled rival groups together while separating others. These colonial partitions, especially between 1884 and 1914, planted the seeds for future conflict. One of the biggest problems is when a single ethnic or cultural group ends up on both sides of a border. This creates a powerful and often dangerous political force called irredentism, the desire to reunite lands and people that are seen as belonging to the same nation. Think of it this way: if your community, your family, and your history are suddenly cut in half by a line you never asked for, the drive to erase that line becomes incredibly strong. These split nations create a state of endless tension, where loyalty to one's ethnic group can easily clash with loyalty to the state. But it's not just about people. It's also about power and resources. Borders often cut right through valuable assets like oil fields, vital rivers, strategic ports, or fertile farmland. When a resource is shared, the question of who gets what can quickly turn hostile. Each side jockeys for control over what lies just beyond the line, fearing that their neighbor will take more than their fair share. Whether it's disputes over water rights in the Nile Basin or oil reserves in contested territories, the fight for resources has fueled countless conflicts across the globe. Then there's the problem of weak or porous borders. When a country can't effectively control who or what crosses its boundaries, violence spreads like a virus. Instability in one nation easily spills over into the next. Refugees fleeing a war zone can strain a neighbor's resources, while rebel groups can use the borderlands as a safe haven to regroup and rearm. This spillover effect can turn a local conflict into a devastating regional crisis, dragging multiple countries into a cycle of violence that's incredibly difficult to stop. Perhaps no border illustrates these dangers better than the one between India and Pakistan. The partition of British India in 1947 was a rushed, chaotic process that created one of the world's most volatile frontiers. It led to one of the largest mass migrations in human history and sparked immediate violence. Decades later, these two nuclear-armed powers, divided by history, religion, and territory, are still locked in a bitter dispute over the region of Kashmir. It stands as a stark reminder of a border that has never truly healed, a wound that continues to bleed. So, are borders destined to be sources of conflict forever? Not necessarily. While they can divide, they don't have to. When countries choose to manage their borders collaboratively through open trade, clear demarcation, and local cooperation, they can transform lines of division into bridges of connection. A well-managed border can foster stability and prosperity for everyone. The choice, ultimately, lies not in the lines themselves, but in how we decide to live with them. Borders divide, but with the right approach, they can also unite. If you want to learn more about how geography shapes our world, make sure to subscribe to World Unpacked for more stories just like this one. Thanks for watching.